Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of SeaBed. So, let's jump right back in. Most people don't realize just how intelligent octopuses are. Or so the voice from the speakers claimed. A moment later, the lights of the neighboring tank lit up. Next, please observe this parrotfish. A couple of colorful rings were lowered into the tank. The fish swam through all of them, and after getting some feed, circled around and passed through the rings again. It swam at normal speed while circling around, but got really fast when it passed through the rings. Then the lights on the neighboring aquarium lit up. There was a flat triangle-shaped archerfish in it. We will now see how archerfish make use of the water to catch their prey. The water in the archerfish tank receded a bit. An employee then came out and placed something on a branch above the water. The archerfish swiftly swam to the surface near the branch, squirted out some water to knock the feed down, and then promptly devoured it. Archerfish can squirt water up to 3 meters in height. However, they are also able to jump out of the water, increasing that height even further. The next one was the tank of electric eels. I stole a glance at Takako to see her staring at the tank with a serious expression and her mouth agape. The length of the eels varied from 1 to 1.5 meters. I could see them swimming around in their tank with their huge curtain-like fins. When another little fish was put inside the tank, a volley of zapping sounds burst forth from the speakers. The sound you are currently hearing is an auditory representation of the voltage in the tank. There was a screen above the tank that represented the current voltage inside the cage. The little fish swam around quite energetically, but following another zapping noise, it suddenly stopped moving altogether and ended up swallowed by the electric eel. As her train departed, Takako gazed at the receding aquarium through the window with wistful eyes. The electric eels were so cool! We ended up missing the dolphin show, though. Electric eels, sea otters, and axolotls are the best things that aquariums have anyways. Takako displayed a particular interest in axolotls. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So we had to go to the exit where its cage was located a bit early. We spent the rest of our time observing the barely modal pink amphibian. I wonder why they aren't selling axolotl plushies, Takako remarked as she gazed at the picture of the axolotl she bought as part of a set in the souvenir store. They had otter plushies. There was a plushie of a mother otter with its cubs attached to its feet, as if it was embracing them. You could also detach the little ones and play with them separately. I already have that one. Oh. Was it really okay to not buy any souvenirs? Takako looked at me. Yes. Takako took out the axolotl picture from the badge and held up the rest in front of me. You can have one if you want. I don't. Look, there's even the oarfish. I saw an unnaturally long fish resembling a cutlass fish. Unlike a cutlass fish, though, this one had big red fins. It was the exact same oarfish we saw marinating in the formaldehyde tank earlier. Actually, the same picture was attached to the tank next to the description. If I remembered correctly, the description claimed that the oarfish was caught 8 years ago in the net of a local fisherman. It was sent to the aquarium right away and remained alive for a little while before ultimately passing away. In the picture, it was swimming in the tank. It had no eyes when I saw it earlier today, but in the picture, it was looking in some weird direction. It felt like it was looking at me. I didn't understand why a deep-sea fish would swim close enough to the surface to get caught in a net, though. I wonder what thoughts circled through its mind while being locked up in that tank. Did it regret coming to the surface? I wonder why a deep-sea fish like this was swimming so close to the surface. Maybe it got bored of the darkness and came to see the corals. But the corridor it ended up in was pretty dark too. Oh, whoops. Yeah, but the corridor it ended up in was pretty dark too, Takako added. If only the door had been open, it could have watched the electric eel show. Then it would have never been bored, said Takako with a smile. The door to the night duty room opened around the same time I finished that passage. I turned around to see Mayuko taking off her slippers by the door. I'm home. Welcome back! Mayuko passed by me, glancing at the notebook in my hand, but it didn't seem like she was particularly concerned about it. She grabbed a cup from the small cupboard in the kitchen and filled it up with water. Oh, I'd like some water too, I said as I placed the notebook back on the shelf. Mayuko washed the cup she had just drunk from, filled it with water again and handed it to me. I took it. Maybe the temperature outside was to blame, but the water felt so cold that I could have sworn I just swallowed a chunk of pure ice. Mayuko sat down in front of me and let out a breath. Do you like aquariums, Mayuko? I used to visit them a lot when I was little. Why? Same here. I kinda remembered my trip to one just earlier. Do you have any fish you're especially fond of? I like clownfish. I'd say I'm pretty fond of colorful southern fish. And the corals in their aquariums look so pretty. What kind of fish is a clownfish? Mayuko made a fish shape out of her hands as she described it. It's orange and has a frame shaped like this. It also has 3 white vertical lines going through its body. Oh, and it tends to hide among an enemy. It's especially cute to see it carefully peeking its face from them. That sounds like an anemone fish. Anemone fish? I don't know that one. I'm pretty sure the sign said clownfish though. It sounded kind of cute, so I remembered it pretty well. It sure sounded like you were describing an anemone fish. What kind of fish do you like, Takako? Electric eels! Electric eels? The ones letting out that zapping noise, right? The aquarium creates that sound to make it easier to understand what's happening. So I guess the aquarium you visited had them too, huh? Yeah. I even got a little startled when that sound just came out of nowhere as I passed by the area. Are there any other fish you like? They're not fish, but I was always looking forward to seeing otters and axolotls. Me too. Axolotls got wildly popular among everyone because of that television commercial. That sure brings back memories. I'm glad you like them too. Seeing them slowly move around is totally relaxing, and the dumb face they make as they open their mouths is so cute. Mayuko smiled. I'm relieved to hear you like cute things too. I was worried you'd say killer whales or sharks after those electric eels. I decided not to mention oarfish. I like cute things as much as the next person. It's just that I have more curiosity than most. You certainly do, Mayuko agreed with a nod. By the way, axolotls are related to salamanders, right? I wonder if they grow big and change colors once they come of age. Axolotls retain their juvenile features as they grow. It's called neoteny, I think. But I heard they can change depending on the environment. They lose their gills and adapt to lung breathing, and end up looking kind of like lizards, or at least that was what was written in the description. I see. I read it countless times. You sound like you really liked aquariums. How about we all go to one sometime later? Are there even any around here? Not anywhere close, but I heard a new one opened up near Osaka. It's pretty big too. That sounds great! When are we going? Let's see. Mayuko fell into thought for a few moments, then looked straight at me. We could think about that once we finish cleaning up after Christmas. Aww. Aquariums! Mayuko laid down the futons as we finished talking about the aquarium. She asked me where I wanted to sleep, and I said here. I climbed into the futon and closed my eyes. I felt tired and wanted to fall asleep as soon as possible. As I emptied my head, the corridor with the oarfish popped into my mind. I was walking through it, holding hands with Sachiko. When I realized it couldn't have been real, I woke up. I glanced at the clock with the help of the moonlight, made out the display. Only 10 minutes had passed since I went to bed. My hand, however, was still pretending to hold Sachiko's. It made me wonder if it was a dream or a delusion. In the end, I figured there wasn't much of a difference between the two. More importantly, I suddenly felt cold. And it only got worse as I kept reading more of the diary. The more I remembered my time with Sachiko, the more I felt the void where her presence used to be. I truly felt like a hole had opened in me. If I listened in, I could hear the sound of the wind blowing through it. That hole had been there all along. I remembered someone telling me that. I glanced at Mayuko and saw her sleeping on her back, completely undisturbed. Her profile looked beautiful in the moonlight. She reminded me of Sachiko a little. Wanting to take a closer look, I climbed out of my futon and drew closer to her. Their eyes were about the only thing differentiating them. Sachiko always looked like she was sleepy, which made the shape of her eyes appear somewhat narrower than Mayuko's. Still, I wondered how they'd compare when they both fully opened their eyes. I felt they might look the same. Is something wrong? Mayuko addressed me with her eyes closed. I can't sleep because of the cold. Can I get in? Mayuko half opened one of her eyes, then closed it again. She told me it was okay. Grabbing my pillow, I slid into her futon. Mayuko turned her back to me. I hesitated for a second, then wrapped my arms around her. When I stuck my hand below her, Mayuko raised her body a little. I could hear the beating of my heart as I pressed my breasts against her back. Mayuko was either very light or slept in a good position, because my hand didn't hurt at all, despite being pinned under her weight. I connected our two pillows into one, then made my head comfortable in the middle and closed my eyes. During my light fidgeting, my hand brushed against Mayuko's bra. A mischievous idea popped into my mind, but I hurriedly discarded it. I was already causing her enough trouble with my weird condition, so I didn't want to make the whole situation even more awkward. As I fell asleep, oh gosh, I dreamt of having sex with Mayuko. I squeezed her breasts with one hand while sticking my other between her thighs. I toyed with her nipples, listening to her moan. When I guided my hand to her crotch, she slowly started massaging it. Elated, I turned over and began vigorously going at her from the front. Mayuko hid her face with her hands, trying to avoid eye contact. Her face kept turning into Sachiko's from time to time. I still felt everything when I woke up in the morning. Before I opened my eyes, I checked my clothes with my left hand. I heaved a sigh of relief. My head hurt a bit. It must be from the anxiety and my low blood pressure. Uh-huh. Alright then, Takako. Why don't you tell that one to Mayuko? Or write it down in your diary for Mayuko to read. Ooh, chapter 4! Yay, achievement unlocked, promise. Okay, chapter 4, Connected. Oh my goodness! They were so cute as babies! The rays of the sun filtered in through the marmalade-colored western window of the kindergarten, elongating the shadows of the three of us inside. I held a picture book in my hands that masqueraded as a doctor's notebook. Takako was pressing her stethoscope against the belly of a doll. Does a stethoscope have a right and wrong side? She asked me. You're holding it correctly. I see. She took the stethoscope off and put it on the table. There was a whole lineup of toy medical tools on it, all to be used as part of the game. Takako looked over them for a second, and after a brief moment of hesitation, "What is this?" She picked up a spatula generally used to hold down the tongue. "Ah, the nurse is looking." Oh, wait, whoops. "Ah, the nurse is looking." I turned around and saw the nurse looking our way. She picked up a plush bunny we left on the floor earlier and put it back into its box. I couldn't make her face out in the backlight. Was she looking at us? "Yes. You seem to be a very very untrustworthy doctor. I fear for your patients if you ever actually become one." Ugh. "I think Narasaki's better at it than you, Takako." "Okay, we can switch if you want." Narasaki stood up. She picked up the stethoscope, put it around her neck, and sat down in the chair. "So, where does it hurt?" "I ate a poisoned apple." "Just like in the story we read today." In that case, please show me your stomach." "Okay." Takako pulled up her shirt, exposing her naked belly. "All right, now turn around." Takako did as ordered, pantomizing a spinning chair. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with your lungs. Okay, let's have a look at your throat now." Takako spun her invisible chair again and opened her mouth. "Open wide. Yeah, just like that." Narasaki used the spatula to push Takako's tongue out of the way. "You're good at opening your mouth. I can see all the way to your tonsils." With the same thing." I have no idea what you're saying, though. The letters blurred and started dancing on the page. I closed the book and rubbed my eyes with one hand. I glanced at the clock resting on the edge of the long table. "What are you reading?" Kozue, sitting on the other end of the table, addressed me. "It's a book about psychological illnesses." "Oh, I hope you get better." I'm not the one afflicted." Kozue exhaled an aloof breath. She looked toward my direction, her eyes narrowed. "Perception and Behavioral Psychology?" She read out the title of the book I was holding. "It's the book I was looking for. Lily said this used to be a sanatorium. When you two were talking, so I figured I'd try my luck." "Are you a doctor?" "That's right." "What kind of doctor?" "Right now, a psychologist, but I've been training in a variety of fields." "I see." Despite saying that, Kozue looked at me with incredulous eyes. I didn't flinch, and soon enough her gaze mellowed out. "I've never known a doctor before." "Really?" Kozue began tilting her head to the side, but stopped the moment she caught herself doing it. "The school has a counselor, though." "You can become a counselor without a doctor's license as long as you have the relevant education." "Is that person a friend of yours?" "No. He came to my house this one time when I was skipping classes a lot. Apart from that, I only saw him in ethics class." "You skip school a lot?" "When I feel tired. It's not like I enjoy slacking off for long periods of time. I was just really tired then." "Did you go to school afterwards?" "Yes. I got even more tired once my parents started fussing over it." "How do you relax on the days when you're tired?" "I sleep until there's nothing else in the house, which is usually around no one else in the house, which is usually around 9 o'clock. After that I read books. No one comes back until late at night, so I sometimes go outside during the afternoon." "And that helps with your exhaustion." I pried a bit further. Kozue furrowed her brows, as though trying to remember what she told me. "I suppose tired was not the right word. Going to the same place every day bores me to death. I want a change of scenery from time to time." Like choosing a less traveled route to school, or boarding a train and letting it take you across town and back until sundown. Stuff like that. You get what I'm trying to say? I used to be a student as well, and even now I'm forced to do more or less the same thing every day. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!